Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to everyone here, everyone streaming online to St. James Live, the premier music and entertainment venue in South Fulton. Hopefully this is not your first time here. This is a fantastic venue we have in the city of South Fulton, and you guys will come back again to enjoy the music, the food, and the atmosphere. My name is Michael. I'm with the Camp Creek Business Association, and we're very proud to be able to put on this forum tonight as part of the process of getting as much information out to the 90,000+ people that comprise the city of South Fulton. For those that don't know, the Camp Creek Business Association is a unique jurisdiction. We run from Camp Creek Parkway from Fulton Industrial all the way down to the airport, so we have the unique challenge of being in 4 jurisdictions. We're in the city of South Fulton, districts 1 and 2. We're at East Point, College Park, and the city of Atlanta. So we do that balancing act, and we see that South Fulton, the biggest part of our district, is something important. So what we want to do is do this event tonight and get as many people out, get the video out, and give you guys an opportunity to meet all the candidates here. Because if we think about it, early voting starts in 6 days. The election itself is in 30 days, and in 68 days, there'll be 8 people sworn in as mayor and 7 other city council members to really start the new city of South Fulton. So we've got a short time window, and with that, so a statistic before we get started, last April, the elections we had in Georgia, the turnout was roughly 13%. The subsequent runoff we had was 6%. And we need to be sure we have people engaged and we have a great turnout for this coming election. So with that, let me introduce our moderator and start the evening. We're very glad to have Ms. Juliet Hall, who's no stranger to South Fulton. She's a board member for the South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. She was an executive for 17 years with the Chick-fil-A Corporation in internal affairs, community affairs, both domestically and internationally, and she's a sought-after panelist and speaker. So I turn the evening over to Ms. Juliet Hall.
Thank you so much, Michael. And I'm not going to stand up the whole time, but as the audience was behind me, I just wanted to stand up and welcome each of you again. And I'm very happy to be able to moderate this important event for each of you. You all have a very important decision to make on who you want to lead your new city. And I hope to be able to ask questions tonight that will allow you to see the transparency and the humility and the expertise of these candidates. And so in that regard, I do want to explain this setup for everyone. Most importantly, this is not a debate. This is not a debate. This is not a debate. So this is a discussion. I will ask the questions. I will ask follow-up questions to obtain some clarity and details from each of you. And so this will be timed. You will have opening and closing statements that you will have 3 minutes to answer. And for the questions in between, you will have 1 minute to answer. Are y'all ready to get down to business? All right, well, we're going to do this just so that you know the questions that I will be asking will be falling in these categories. There will be general questions. There will be questions about your character. There will be questions about your leadership. There will be questions about public safety, education, economic development, and transportation. And if an angel just comes and speaks to me about some question that may not be on my list, I'll ask that too. All right, here we go. And let us begin with our first opening statement by Mr. Robert Butner Jr. And in your opening statement, please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for mayor for the new city of South Fulton.
Thank you. I'm Robert Butner. I want to welcome everyone for coming out on this Tuesday evening in the rain and being at St. James Live. I am a native of Southwest Atlanta, which now is proudly call the city of South Fulton. I graduated from Mays High School. From there, I went on to finish a degree in finance from Morris Brown College. With a finance degree in Morris Brown College, I began teaching in the Atlanta public school system, where I started off in elementary school, then I moved my way up to Washington High School, which is located over by the Georgia Dome. At Washington High School, I taught personal finance, investments, entrepreneurship, multimedia, career, business, education. One of my biggest accolades at Washington High School was I was department chair for the Banking and Finance Academy, where I actually designed the curriculum for personal finance. In 2009, I stopped teaching to open up my own firm as a financial counselor. I've helped over 150 citizens just like you be able to retire, pay for their children's tuition, also make certain that their family households are taken care of. The reason I'm running for mayor is because I saw a need to make certain that the leadership for this city had a long-term economical outlook for the city. We don't want to just keep the lights on and keep services running today. We want to think about the vision where you want this city to be in 20 years. Thank you, Robert Butner. I'll be first on the ballot because I should be the first choice for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bonner. Mr. Crane.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for your opening statements. And now I'm going to go into the questions that I have. And I'm going to start with the category of leadership. Mr. Bonner, many of you have invoked the name of former Atlanta Mayor Maynard Jackson as an example of a great leader. Can you name a local Atlanta or national leader that you find inspiring, and what did you learn from them?
Thank you for asking that question. The leader I find very inspiring is Shirley Franklin. Shirley Franklin, the reason I think that she is so inspirational, because I had the pleasure of teaching high school while Shirley Franklin was our mayor. What Shirley Franklin did for the students of Atlanta was phenomenal. She was able to get business partnerships in some of the high schools where the kids were labeled. It's all about these labels that make people's mind move toward the label. But she gave those students inspiration to know that they could get jobs, they could get accepted to college. And now I have the pleasure of calling some of those students my friends that are doctors, that are police officers, firefighters. Shirley Franklin is an inspiration to me, and she's one of the key elements to why I even want to become the mayor of South Fulton. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Crane, why don't you take that same question? Who would be an example?
Ms. Beer.
Thank you. This side. Mr. Bonner, if elected, what do you want to accomplish in the first 100 days if you are elected as mayor for the city of South Fulton?
So when you think about the first 100 days and you envision of what you want to happen as a citizen, as the citizens of the new city of South Fulton, first thing that I want to accomplish is making certain that everyone in this room, everyone in the 100 square mile radius feels safe and comfortable that the services will continue as you currently enjoy them. What I mean by that is I want you to be able to leave your house to go to work, knowing that when you come home, the door will be kicked in. I want you to be able to feel comfortable that we are now in the process of growing our safety force to the number where you can feel comfortable that if your son or daughter goes to the gas station to fill up, that your car won't be driven off by somebody other than your son and daughter. I want to make certain that you feel comfortable in the leadership with the mayor and the city council that your needs will be heavily vested. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Edwards. Same
This
question
is
to
the
you.
best-in-class new city. We have best-in-class people.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's move on to public safety because several of you are very passionate about public safety and have referenced that in your statements. And let's just start with you, Mr. Bonner, since the microphone is right there. What is your plan for improving the public safety for the city of South Fulton?
My plan for improving the public safety for the city of South Fulton includes using the funds that are already available to hire new police force. But I'm not going to stop there. If we just hire police presence, what that does is that just facilitates the current level of crime. It does not give an incentive for people who don't have anything better to do with their time to have something to do with their time. What I mean by that is, one of my key beliefs when it comes to public safety is activities. The young people that we have in South Fulton are the same young people that they have in North Fulton. They just have more activities to do in North Fulton. One of the things that we have to make certain that we have in South Fulton are things to keep our young people productively engaged.
Just a follow-up question on the activities. Can you drill down on specific activities that you don't see in South Fulton that you would want to enact?
Absolutely. One of the things that we had at Washington High School was business partnerships with our high school. What that allows a student to do is, most students have the first question coming into the classroom day one, why do I have to take calculus? Where will I ever use this? If we have that business partnership, strong business partnership, not just on paper, an active business partner, that partner will team up with that student to let them know where that education will lead them. That student won't want to commit a crime because he knows with a criminal record, he won't be able to get that job that he's looking forward to. Business partnerships are key in our education. And outside of that, yeah, we have parks and recreation, but we also need to foster the arts. We need to foster indoor soccer. I currently go down to Peachtree City to take my son, my 4-year-old son, to indoor soccer. We could have indoor soccer here if the citizens want it.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dawson, we're going to move on to education. And this will be a question, a general question for each of you about how to improve the performance of schools in the city of South Fulton. So for this question, let's just thank you so much. And last but not least, Mr. Butner, you're the last person. You've heard all of these other responses. Do you have any fresh new ideas on how you can improve the education?
Of course. Freshness is just like a produce section. So here's one of the things that we have in this room. A lot of people in this room went to public school. A lot of people in this room may have gone to private school. But what I think is unacceptable is paying property taxes that pay for our local schools, and we still having to scour our monthly budgets trying to figure out how we'll afford private school. That's unacceptable. One of the things that will lead to better education is one word: reading, reading, and reading. Here's the thing about making certain that that child from the 2nd grade all the way up to the 7th grade can read. It reduces the crime rate, it reduces the dropout rate. Volunteer programs, volunteers come into the schools so that it won't be a tax burden to make certain that our elementary and middle school children can read is important to the success of our education.
Okay, thank you so much. We have one more category that we're going to cover before we move to closing statements, and that's on economic development. Thank you. On the side over here. Mr. Butner. Mr. Butner, what can be done to promote a more positive image for the city of South Fulton to attract new development to the city?
As the mayor, one of the strong points that I will produce is being a recruiter. So what I mean by that is going out and recruiting new businesses to want to come to South Fulton with the expectation that we will be able to fill those new jobs with our citizens of South Fulton. So when you think about development, businesses have to want to first plant their seed here in our city. And if they want to plant a seed, we have to have fertile ground. How do we make certain that we have fertile ground? We have to make certain that, number one, if they move in, they'll want to send their children to the schools here. They're not going to move here and still have to send their children to East Cobb or somewhere else. We want the students to go here. The second thing that we have to do with development is make certain that the infrastructure is correct. We don't want a lot of development and then it takes 30 minutes just to get to 285. That's unacceptable. So we got to make certain that we consider infrastructure first. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Same question to you, Mr. Crane. You're the businessman here.
a work, live, play community.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We are at the end of our round table forum here, and so I'm going to allow each of you to take an opportunity to provide your closing statements. And please adhere to the time and tell the voters here why they should elect you as mayor of South Fulton. And we're going to do this in reverse alphabetical order. Thank you, Mr. Grant. Thank you. Mr. Bond.
Thank you. So it is Tuesday. We've been out here in the rain. You all have listened to the 9 candidates explain to you all for going on 2 hours why they should be your choice. And I'm standing here tonight to explain to you why I should be your #1 choice to make certain that this city gets off to a good start. I have a secret to inform you of. The city of South Fulton does not comprise just the Camp Creek Stonewall Taylor District. It also includes Old National, Flat Shoals. It goes all the way down close to Palmetto. If you look at the map of South Fulton, it looks like a jigsaw puzzle with pieces missing. As your mayor, my most important job will be to convey the vision of the city. Without the vision, people perish. I'm going to close really quickly about political experience versus leadership. As a new teacher, I was at Washington High School. Coming in, I taught a 10th grade class. In that 10th grade class, there was this one boy named Cortez that was trouble. He came from all these different teachers, and these were senior teachers that came to me as a new teacher and said, Butner, the best thing that you can do with that student is hurry up, write him up, and get him out of your classroom. As a teacher, Cortez surely gave me a problem when I realized that he sat by himself. So I took Cortez to the side, asked him if he could help me out. And through talking with Cortez, I realized that he came from a single-parent home. He went home, his mother was not there, she was at work. He raised 2 younger children by himself. I told Cortez that he is a leader. All he has to do is envision himself as a leader. Years passed, and my wife and I were downtown by Woodruff Park, close to that Baker Street area where the restaurants are. We had to go there to eat because we didn't have any choices here in South Fulton that we wanted to go to. I walked by a table. I saw this young man with long dreadlocks around a group of young people. And I was walking by and he said, Mr. Butner, Mr. Butner, Mr. Butner. I turned around and I said, do I know you? He said, I'm Cortez. I go to Georgia State and I'm finishing up in finance.
Thank you.
It's not about experience, it's about inspiration.
Thank you, Mr. Butner. Thank you. And thank you to all of the candidates. Great job tonight.